So we're going to look at marketing for the next hour and a half, more or less. I've been on a lot of courses where I've learned how to do something, but not learned how to sell it. What's the problem with that? You can't do it, right? Even if you're just trying to get volunteers, you still have to sell it. It's actually quite hard to sell free stuff sometimes, yeah? So I've always thought it was a bit silly to do a course then not learn how to sell it at the end. I've always thought it was actually, for me to have integrity, I should at least help you a little bit. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time on this. We've also learned over the years that this is sometimes people's all-time favourite session of the 5 days. Had standing ovations a few times, which used to totally freak me out because I'm not a marketing expert, right? I don't have any formal marketing qualifications. I haven't studied that. But I have successfully run an embodiment business for the last 11 and a half years. And if you can, for me, to be a professional in this field and not have to get a real fucking job for 11 and a half years, that's success. For me, that's like, wow, I might not have bought a yacht or a Ferrari, but I'm doing what I love, and I'm doing it in a way that I haven't worried about renting quite a few years. Do you know? Like, I'm doing all right. I do okay, yeah? And for me, that's brilliant, and there's so many advantages to that. I can keep doing what I love as the main one. And I'm not stressed about money all the time, and you know, I've got a little bit of a thing going on right now, but it's just it's a flow issue. 2 months, it's sorted. The other thing is, because I'm pretty good at marketing, because I've got a little bit of a crisis going on right now, I'll have fixed it in a week. Yeah, there'll be magic mark money. So the other reason I know I've got some capability of marketing is because I'm not speaking to an empty room. Right? You're all here. You've come from all over the world, you've invested your time, you've invested your money, 5 days of your time. We must be offering something of value, and not only is it of value, but we've convinced you it's of value. We've shown you it's of value. That's all marketing is, right? Who has some kind of negative association with the word marketing? Yeah, some kind of contraction in the body maybe, some sort of, who says, I can't do that, I'm no good at that? Right, okay, I bet you can in some context or another. I bet you've got at least some of the skills. For example, who here is a good listener? I'm not. Great marketing skill. Who here is good at putting himself out there? Great marketing skill. Who here has a sense of humour? Who here is sexy? Put your hands up. Okay, all marketing skills, right? And there's loads more. There's loads more. So these are all marketing skills. Mostly what you'll see I'm doing with marketing is basically fucking around and having a good time in a slightly tactical way. Yeah? And the tactics I'm going to teach you in the next 90 minutes are not rocket science. Like, the basics of marketing are really quite simple. One of my business mentors, if you haven't got one, get one. One of my business mentors, she says, I draw the same diagram about 10 times a week on my whiteboard when I'm doing mentoring sessions, because it's the same shit for everyone. Yeah, I currently mentor 11 different embodiment teachers. People that have done the EFC can become a mentee for 2 years, so it's quite a long-term relationship. And I find myself sort of saying more or less the same things to each of them, even though they've got slightly different businesses and different cultural backgrounds. There's a few things I just say again and again and again. And I love teaching this because it reminds me too. Oh yeah, sales funnels, yeah? Okay, has anyone here got any like proper marketing training? Yeah, you've got some? So like universities or?
I had a marketing business.
Uh-huh.
But actually, I think for me, what it shows is it's less about skill, it's belief. It's like, I hate doing my own marketing.
Right.
I'm very
Yeah.
but will visceral effects. But going through some of the principles and some of the postures that we've done, what I can see is it's not about skill and application of skill. That's what it can't be. It just can't be. But it's about that really digging into what the belief of what you have to give.
Great. So I talk about the inner and the outer game. So the outer game is actually relatively straightforward. You don't need an MBA to understand it. I can definitely convey the basics to you in an hour. Yeah, the outer skills, as it were. And then, there's specifics that make take longer to learn, like how to use Instagram or, whatever the specifics are. And then there's the inner side, which is about the self-belief, the embodiment, the stuff we were just exploring in that workshop. And actually both really matter. Both are important. Yeah. If you've already got the outer skills, it's the inner side that becomes more the game. And feel free to chip in if people have had, got other qualifications and things in this. Yeah. Okay. So first thing is, what is marketing? All right. So I've kind of already said it. It's helping people understand the value of what you offer. Yeah. So I want to differentiate between Jedi and Sith marketing. So who knows Star Wars? If you don't, get out. No. So in Star Wars, the Jedis are like the good guys, basically, right? And they're slightly magicians, they're warriors, but they've got these like magic powers, and they're super cool. They're kind of like Zen monks with lightsabers. And that's how I like to think of marketing. On the other side, we've got the Sith. The Sith are the bad guys. They lie and they manipulate and they're evil and they scheme. And that's kind of what most people are thinking of as marketing. So because I imagine you have values similar to mine, you don't want to do that. It's important we have this differentiation, because otherwise you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. You're saying all marketing's bad. And the first thing I'd say is I really get that. Like if I walk down the street and I see, there was a big advert. I was walking down the street today, I was early in the morning, I was barely awake, and there's this huge billboard, and it was just lying about alcohol. But the message was, alcohol's sexy and will make everyone love you. It's like, have you met any drunk people? Right? It was just lies, okay? And it was right in my face. It was pushed its way into my consciousness, and I thought, I don't need this, right? It was like pollution. I was like, ugh, And so I really get that. But a lot of advertising, once you understand the psychology of what they're trying to do, it's really manipulative and unpleasant, and just not true, right? The implicit message was so not true in this advert that I felt really angry. So in Sith marketing, there's lies, there's manipulation. Sith marketing often creating states of fear. Use this kitchen cleaner or your children will all die. Yeah? No, let your children eat dirt, they'll be fine. Yeah? It's creating fear, it's creating anger, the clickbait. It's creating agitation, it's creating that, if you click on the awful SJWs or the awful conservatives, it's creating these less skillful states, which, as a Buddhist, I'm quite sensitive to, like the states people are trying to create, and is that smart? And as much as anything, the thing that gets me is just the lies and the bullshit, right? So I want to be really clear, we're not doing that. I'm not interested in making you better at that. I'm not interested in teaching you that. And to put that to one side is just something that I don't want to support, and I'm imagining most of you don't want to do. And that's what feels sort of grubby about marketing. Do you know what I mean? Particularly if you're from certain backgrounds, I think, again, the Brits particularly feel this. It can feel like grubby to sell oneself. Do you know what I mean by grubby? Like dirty or like that? Because it's an association with what's technically known as bullshit. But that is a technical term, by the way, from philosophy. There's a philosopher who talks about what bullshit is, and it's not exactly lies. There's a specific distinction in there. Anyway, so what is it if it's not that? Letting people know you can meet their needs, right? If you're hungry and I have a sandwich and you don't know I have a sandwich, or you don't know that sandwiches stop hunger, marketing is me saying, hey, I've got a sandwich. Have you heard of sandwiches? They stop you being hungry. Would you like this sandwich? It's that simple, right? How's that sleazy? How's that hard? How's that scary? How can you not be good at that? Oh, I can't do that. Why not? If I'm thirsty, can you tell me you have a glass of water? That's marketing. Well done. Okay. It's just a slightly more complicated version of the exact same thing. Here's then where I get a little bit challenging, and sometimes people freak out about this. It's unethical not to market. Why? If you're hungry, I have a sandwich, I don't tell you about it, who's an asshole? I am. Who would really like to know that if I had a sandwich? You would. Okay? So assuming you're meeting a genuine need, you're not making up a need or lying about a need. You anti-dandruff shampoo, which makes your head have dandruff. And then you have to get the shampoo. It's very strange. Okay? But assuming you're meeting a genuine need, right? Assuming you've done lots of yoga classes and you've seen that people have benefited from those yoga classes, so you're confident that your yoga class makes people happy. How do you know it meets needs? Because people will fucking tell you. They'll say, thank you so much, Mark, for this training. About 5 of you today have taken time to take me aside one-on-one and sincerely and emotionally thank me for the last 5 days. Now, you didn't have to do that, so I'm assuming I gave some value to those 5 people. All right? Is that a fair assumption? Okay? And probably a few more of you later on. Yeah? So I can be pretty confident that what I'm doing has some value based on what you say, not what my head says. Not if I deserve it or if it's good enough. Blah, 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 shut the fuck up. It's a market economy. The person that determines value is the customer. If you tell me you think I'm gorgeous, Okay? If you tell Vidyadasa that he's the best meditation teacher ever, he is, whether he thinks it or not. That's the determining factor, that you're getting value from it. So, to not market is unethical. How dare you? If you have something of value, if you have something beautiful, something useful, something that helps people, to keep that secret is fucking selfish. You with me? Is there a hole in my logic? You have something good. It helps people, and for some reason you won't tell them about it. That's not just crazy, because it's harmful to you, it's harmful to them, right? If you don't market yourself, you also create more space for the bullshit. We all see the bullshit, we all complain about it. You know, you'll hear me talk about yoga girls on Instagram, bikinis on the beach, and rah, 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 yeah? But what am I doing? So for a long time I complained about yoga. I was in yoga classes, I was just feeling dissatisfied with certain things. I loved yoga, but I was, didn't like the way yoga was moving in the world. And eventually I stopped complaining and created EYP. Much happier now. It's like, offer something better, right? Offer something. Stop complaining. Yeah? So for me, that's what marketing is. It's offering something which is of value to people. Okay? And actually, you need to get the fuck out of your own way. The ego of being in your own way, the absolute narcissism of, I have something to offer and it's really valuable and people are going to get a lot for it, but because of me, I can't offer it. Because of my stuff. It's me. Shut the fuck up. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. It's like, get out of the way and let the gods move through you. That makes sense? So for me, marketing is actually about getting your own ego out of the way. Marketing itself is a spiritual practice. Radical. It's another frame. Not only is it not sleazy, it's a spiritual practice. How do you develop yourself? Marketing takes courage. It takes a lot of courage to stand up and say, I think we can do it this way. Guys, pay attention. There's something that could be really useful to you. Now I'm worried about rejection. What if everyone hates me? What if everyone criticizes me? They will. Okay? They fucking will. Just accept that now. You won't be everyone's cup of tea. Some people will say he's too this, he's too that, he's an idiot, he's too fat. Had that one in Russia. He's this, he's that. Okay, you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that. So it takes great courage to stand up and it's the stand marketing. It also spiritual practice because you have to really listen. Not marketing is egocentric. Marketing is all about what does the customer want. Seeing things from their point of view. Empathy is the heart of it. Creativity is the heart of it. How bored are you by most adverts? Most adverts I see, I just go, I've seen this so many times. Nothing new here. Boring. Yeah? But as if you can provide something beautiful, like there's some adverts that go, wow, there's really a lot of creativity's gone into this. Yeah, that's compelling. Humor's compelling. Yeah? Being beautiful, being aesthetically appealing, being emotionally appealing. There's a real creative practice in that for me. And you can have fun doing it. You could think of this whole thing as play. A nice Buddhist perspective on marketing. It's all just play. It's just a dance. It's flowers and bees. You know, a flower doesn't get uptight about being attractive, does it? It's not like, oh, I'm the wrong kind of flower. What if no bees like me? Oh my God, I don't dare take up space as a flower. The flower just does its flowery thing and bees come or not, right? So that's the sort of non-attached perspective on marketing, which I find that, we were talking about this earlier, we have a Buddhist perspective on this, which makes the whole thing sort of easier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like not outcome independence. So we've established that marketing is love, and only a deeply selfish person would not gain the basic skills in doing it. If there's any hole in my argument, let me know. You see why it's love? Helping people meet their needs, expressing yourself to inform them as best you can, seeing things from their point of view. Yeah? Okay. So what happens? We get in our own way, right? I'm sort of half joking about the deeply selfish thing because we've all got stuff. We've all got things we need to work on. Whether it's about the vulnerability of marketing, the being seen of marketing, the being a gift of marketing, the generosity of it. Yeah, we've all got stuff to work on there on the sort of inner side of things. Let's start, however, with the sort of basics. So the theory of marketing is actually incredibly simple. I can explain it in about 20 minutes. What you're selling, to who, where are they, determines kind of how you might do it. That's about it. We can start with the why if you wanted. The why would be sort of like what drives you to do what you do, the heart behind what you do, what compels you, what the love, as it were. Yeah? So we've been talking about that already. Being on purpose is important, the why. But the basics of marketing is what's the benefit it brings to them? Noticing all these questions are about them. Why is about you? The rest's about them. Yeah, the rest's about the customer. What benefits do you give? You should do embodied yoga because it's embodiment. I don't care. I don't know what that word means. What benefit does that bring me? Does that make sense? Yeah? So let me give you another example of this. What is the benefit of you as a husband, Vidyadasa, to your wife? So he's got features, grey beard, glasses, 6 foot tall, this height, features, but what's the benefit of a Vidyadasa?
With care, support, love, play, fun.
How does that impact your wife?
Hopefully she feels able to live her life and give what she's got done.
So you're empowering, it empowers her to be free, to give love, makes her feel good. Okay? You see how that's about her now. It's not about his grey beard. It's not about his Scottish accent. You might like that, but it's what's the benefit that it brings. So why do people come to your yoga class?
For something that they want.
Right. Do you know what that is? Ask. Okay? If you've already got clients, ask them. Say, why do you keep coming back here? They could have just voted with their feet otherwise, right? What is it about me that you like? Yeah? It's quite interesting to ask lovers or partners this as well. Because you think it's one thing and it turns out to be another. They're like, oh, I just feel really this around you or whatever. You were fun. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah? It's about their feeling. It's about their feeling. How do they feel? The what, the benefit they bring. So let's say a good example from Tad Hargraves, who has a thing called Marketing for Hippies. I highly recommend him. Tad Marketing for Hippies. You can look him up. He talked about a coach whose job it was to get kids to bed on time. Okay, so the service he provided was coaching parents to help get their kids to bed on time. So what is the benefit that brought to the parents?
Space for parents to be together.
Yes. What are the parents? It's like a love life for the first time in years. Yeah? A glass of wine in front of Game of Thrones. Our relationship not breaking up. So the parents are like, we'll pay a lot of money for this. Because the benefit was huge. The benefit wasn't the kid going to bed half an hour earlier. The benefit was not spending 3 hours a week arguing with their child and ruining that relationship. Yeah? You see the benefits? So selling it like, I can get your kids to bed half an hour earlier. No. I can help you have a love life again. I can help you have a hobby again. I can help you have quality time with your partner. I can help you relax at the end of a hard day so you're not just shouting at your child every day. Make sense? You see how the benefits are completely different. Yeah? Benefits can be subtle, it can be psychological. Yeah? What's the benefit of going to that swanky cafe around the corner? Feel nice. Feel at home. Okay, great. It's a sense of feeling at home. You see how that's maybe not immediately obvious from the coffee or whatever, yeah? I feel at home here. I feel relaxed here. Yeah? It's a benefit of that cafe. Benefits are worth money. Okay, if people understand the benefits enough, and the what impacts them enough, they'll pay money for it. They'll find the money. So when people say, I can't afford it, what they really mean is, I don't see the value of it. Yes? Makes sense? Yeah. Okay, key thing here. Who is your target audience? Who is your target audience? If it's everyone, it's no one. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to stop people coming to your yoga class, for example. Who's the target audience of embodied yoga principles? Everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. Let's see who's most my target audience in this room. So I use an example you all know, EYP, right? Classic example. So everyone stand up please, if you would.
Do you mean EYP generally?
This EYP teacher training, this 5-day teacher training, you're all customers. Now, hopefully there's some features you share. For example, nobody's here what I technically called a yoga wanker, okay? So nobody here is like super into body beautiful yoga, trying to get like super skinny or whatever, okay? Not, I hope, okay? My guess is that's not your main orientating, your main reason for doing yoga is not aesthetics according to society's standards. So you've got that in common, I would say. Yeah? What's that? No, saying you're not conforming to society's awful aesthetic tyrannies. Okay, so that would be one thing we have in common, right? Another thing, none of you are really new age. None of you are like, the unicorn thing was a bit of a joke, isn't it? But none of you are like hardcore crystals up the wazoo, yeah? None of you are hardcore age. If you're a bit new age, please sit down. Who thinks they're like a bit new age? Please sit down, okay? So you might be like welcome and included, but not maybe the main target audience. If you're doing quite a lot of sort of athletic yoga, please sit down. Again, it's not to say that you're not welcome or that you wouldn't be great customers, but you're not primarily who I'm targeting. If you're only trained in one style of yoga, please sit down. If you're so more than one style of yoga, standing up, great. Okay, if you're not a yoga teacher, sit down. If you would regard yourself as not psychologically and emotionally mature, please sit down. No, everyone's still standing. Okay. What other criteria do you think we have? What do we interview people on?
Interested in depth, truth, honesty.
If you're interested in approach yoga which isn't psychologically rich, please sit down. Okay, we might have some demographic things. If you're under 30, please sit down. It doesn't mean you're not welcome if you're under 30, but it means that generally EYP students are of a particular age because they've done some stuff already. Is this making sense? Okay, so it's like there's a particular group of people that are suited to what you do. Oh, if you're not from the UK or Western Europe, please sit down. It's not to say you're not welcome to come from Israel or Canada, but we're generally not targeting that market. Does that make sense? Because only people that are really, really committed would come from far away. Oh, if you treat life quite seriously, or don't find my jokes funny, please sit down. Anyone think I'm not very funny? And all of them. If you're in any way easily offended, please sit down. If you believe in the concept of offence, please sit down. No. Would have been well rude if I'd have known that. Okay. Okay, so you see what we're getting at? There's certain people who are going to be better suited to EYP. And there's other people that I go, look, you take life a bit seriously, it might not be the place for you. Well, look, you want to do athletic stuff, that's great, but it's not what I offer. What we offer is more about a depth psychological approach. Everyone can sit down now. Okay. So the idea is figuring out who are your target market. Yeah? If you saw a shop that said butchers and bakery and hairdresser, would you go there? No, right? Because you'd be like, well, you can't really be good at any of them. What if you saw a shop which was called bakery for wanky East London yoga teachers? Don't even be on it, right? Or a hairdresser that was hairdresser for spiritual people who like blah, 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 right? Hairdresser for interest, a hairdresser. What a great business idea. What a great business. That's a brilliant idea. Whatever people are longing for or complaining about is a business idea. So a hairdresser where no one will bother you. Yeah? Oh my God. Wow. Great. Yeah? A car mechanic that won't make me feel like an idiot. There's one in London called Posh Plumbers. Posh plumbers are plumbers who like wear a shirt and a tie and they speak properly, okay, well proper like me, okay, and they come to your house and they're polite and they don't make a mess. And they don't piss on your toilet floor, okay. Posh Plumbers has been a hugely successful business. Because there's people like, well, I need a plumber, but I don't want anyone in my house who's going to, you know. Popular in Surrey and West London. Yeah? So do you see the niches? Yeah? So there's different people out there that do different kinds, in the yoga world, so different niches. So this is, you know, more Eastern. This is more traditional. This is more modern. This is more athletic. Yeah? So who is your niche? Who is your niche? So turn to someone near you, in your business as a yoga teacher, whatever you do. Who are the kinds of people? You're not allowed to say everyone. It doesn't mean that you're going to stop people coming in, right? But who is it really designed for? Because the where, you'll find them. That's how you do your marketing. Okay, like I'm teaching at International Coach Federation on Tuesday. Why? Because one of my main businesses sells to coaches. What a great use of 2 hours of my time to do a talk at a conference for coaches, right? Because they're my target market, British coaches. We could say some subsets within that. By the way, I'll be deliberately alienating half that audience. Why?
So you don't waste your time with people who are only so.
Exactly. I'm going to be deliberately making rude jokes. I'm going to be deliberately going deep. I'm going to be swearing. I'm going to be being full Mark Walsh. Because I don't want people getting to the next level of my marketing who don't fit what I do. I need to put a few heads on spikes to scare people away. Marketing is about offending people. Marketing is about upsetting people. Marketing is about alienating people. Or marketing is about making certain people fall in love with you. Better? It's another way of looking at it. Because otherwise, you end up accidentally marrying a gay guy. And he's not happy and you're not happy. Does that make sense? Do you get the metaphor? It's not anti-gay, just to be clear. Okay? Yeah? It's to be that you need to be matched with someone. I like to think of marketing as a romance. Okay? So good romance is where you're both benefiting, you deepen it in trust, stage by stage, and you're a good fit for each other or several people.
There is an aspect to marketing though, it seems to me like with the alcohol advertising, it's like creating a need.
Yeah, that's Sith marketing.
But people might not know that they need this.
That's different. That's educating people.
Possibly, quite probably could really benefit from it. That's the sales part of it.
Yes. So don't know that there's a need. Don't know that they have a need. Don't know that they can meet that need. Don't know you personally can help them meet that need. So there's a scale. And there's a certain group of people that I go, that it's not even on their radar. It'll be way too much. You have to educate at that point. But that's not Sith, that's education. It's not lying. So there is an educational process, but that might not be worth the trouble. It's a lot of work. I'd much rather coach the yoga teacher, rather than convince a hardcore Iyengar yoga who thought there was one true way and the embodiment didn't matter, and rather than try and convince them, I'd much rather work with someone that goes, you know what, I've done a few kinds of yoga and there seems to be something there and I'm starting to get this embodiment stuff for myself anyway, and I've seen a couple of things that what you're doing looks like what I'm interested in. I'm going, great, let's talk. Right? I don't want to do the whole educational process every time. Yeah? We'll come back to that in a little bit. There's more to that. We'll come back to that. So for now, describe in as much detail your ideal client. Sometimes this is called like the avatar. Yeah? It might be like, oh, we want more Vinyadasas on the course. We actually did that. We did EFC one year and we said we want more Vinyadasas and more Sallys. Sally was a coach that was on the course. So we want more people like him and more people like her. Yeah? We use them as sort of like archetypal people in our marketing to think, and then we can think, where do they live? How do they speak? What images would appeal for them? What colours do they like? You know, what language do I use? All that stuff, right? But it's based on the who. Okay? So who is your like ideal customer? Find a partner, describe them in as much detail as you can. Off you go. Who wants to tell us their target group, their niche? Can you stick the lights on, Vinyadasa? It's a little bit low energy. Someone tell us who they are. Who are they? Yes? Activists. All activists. Some of them are a fucking nightmare. Which kind?
Enthusiastic and sense of humour.
Okay. Open with a sense of humour activists. Great. No, they do exist. They do exist. And I've worked with them too. And in a particular area, geographically, and a particular kind of activism. Far-right neo-Nazi activists are allowed? Something that connects with your values at certain areas maybe. Great, and you see how there's certain places she can go to connect with those people. She can also find connectors who knows activists. Like I know a couple of friends that have got loads of activist friends that I could put you in touch with. And I could recommend, you see how easy it is for me to recommend her now? Because I know who she wants to work with, so I can easily refer her. Yeah? Another one.
Startup companies.
Where?
States.
In the States?
Friends that they work for startups or they actually have ones, and they really put the budget into self-development and new stuff, and they're really interested. And some of them, I was telling about in Ireland, they're actually all over it.
Yeah. One of those EWP teachers is doing stuff with Twitter in London. Another one was doing stuff with Google in San Francisco. So there's already people that work with this market because quite open-minded, sometimes budgets. There's this that's tech sector more than startup, obviously, but some startups, they don't have any money, right? I got one student that's looking at like market share in companies. So for her, it's like a 1% market share, and who knows, if she picks the next Facebook, she's going to be loaded in 10 years, right? So it's, it's a risk for her, it's a bet for her, but it's a different business model. She lives in Sweden, so it has quite good social benefits, so she doesn't need immediate income, so for her it's like a long-term sort of bet, yeah? So different people, different groups, based on your own economics, based on their economics. Key concept here, Masha, can I use yours as an example? So Masha's one is expat women of a certain age, right? So she has two things with those. She has access to those people. Living in Luxembourg, she's got the network, she knows those people, she knows people they know. Some people say, I want to work with corporates. I'm like, do you have any corporate contacts? Yeah, the other one is credibility. So she has loads of credibility with that group because she's lived abroad as an expat for a certain amount of time. Again, if it was me doing workshops on childbirth, would I have credibility? No, right? I don't have that lived experience, yeah? So there's the credibility piece and there's the access piece. So sometimes, if you don't have access and you really want to work with a group, you can do it, but boy, is it hard work. I was working with international NGOs and I had to really work my way in. It was like I'd meet someone who knew someone who knew someone, have lunch. It's like a really long-term process to get those people. One of my students works therapy, but very high-end. So she has clients who pay £10,000 a year, just a few clients, to be on the other end of the phone whenever she wants. Okay, so she works with the very, very rich. She spent a lot of time getting into the right circles, joining golf clubs, becoming part of various groups in order to meet the people who knew those people. Yeah, she's a very particular kind of therapist. She's basically the trauma therapist to the wives of the very wealthy. That's her niche. Yeah, and a very, very wealthy husband says, my wife's not very well. I'm willing to pay any amount of money because I love her deeply, and blah blah blah. Yeah, and it is gendered. That's not me being sexist. She particularly works with women. She used to be a child prostitute. She has super credibility with any amount of trauma. People say, you wouldn't understand my pain, and she tells them her life story, and they're like, okay. Right? This is all public record, but actually I can tell you her name, it's Shoshana. It's all public record what I'm saying, so this is stuff that she's put out in public, it's not confidential. So, super hardcore credibility, but she had to really work to get the access to that group. You may already have ready access, like you wanted to teach salsa teachers. How many salsa teachers do you know?
I was going to take more performance. So
Okay.
lady that I show you some success that has business teaching dance confidence for performance.
Got it.
And there's a niche there, and she seems to be doing quite well. Like, I hear a lot from her on her Facebook page. And it's not something you would do in the UK, because you don't work in performance, do you? I mean, you put yourself out there.
Okay.
So actually, I think potentially, just in this last couple of minutes, I thought that might be something that I could actually take this and.
Great, so there's an equivalence of credibility. So when I worked with the police in central London, I'd just come back from working in Afghanistan. They were like, well, we're not the army, or it was actually NGOs I was working with in Afghanistan. We're not NGOs, we're the police, but that's tough and our life is tough, so that's enough equivalence, right? You're a dancer, that's a performance, Okay, great. So you have credibility, you have access. A third thing I think you need is just joy. You need to like working with those people. I actually, despite all the jokes I make, I actually really like working with yogis. Why? Because they already have basic body awareness. They have similar values 9 times out of 10. It's much easier than working with business people. All right, so there has to be a joy to it, I would say, or else people will feel it. If you're working, say, with business people or politicians, you're judging them, they'll feel that. They need to feel that you're on their team, that you've really got, there's an enthusiasm for working with that group. Yeah. Niches can be quite particular as well. Like I was just explaining one, there's a therapist that I know called Justin Mastin, and she does therapy for geeks. Her website is all superheroes and Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. If you're a geek with some social skills problems, okay, you'd be so much more comfortable with her than anyone else. What a great niche, huh? She does yoga classes dressed as R2-D2. you can find them on in Yoga International. She's great. She's a great lady. Okay, but she's a serious therapist. She's narrative therapy. She's like proper qualified therapist. She also teaches yoga. That's her niche. So she turns up and does yoga at like Comic-Con, or it'll be like Star Wars convention. And she doesn't, there's a lot of stuff around body shame and body appearance and awkwardness and autistic spectrum stuff. And, that community has certain issues overrepresented. And she speaks to their concerns. And she says, okay, this pose is, Sauron pose from Lord of the Rings or whatever. Yeah? Do you see how that's really compelling? So if you were a geek with psychological problems, you would pay way more money to work with her. Another therapist friend of mine does bloke therapy. And it's like, when people phone him up, actually they don't phone him up because blokes don't like the phoning, they send him a message on his website. That's his call to action, because that fits his target group better. And he messages them back, it's like, I won't make you cry, I won't make you talk about your feelings unless you want. My job's to help you out with really practical things. Yeah, first session costs this much, do you want to do it? Like, to his target audience of like blokey blokes that know they have a problem but are a bit worried about talking to a therapist, like that's dead easy, right? You go for that. Right. So it's got to be, and again, do you see the love in this? To be able to speak people's language, to use, this is back to the unicorns thing, to use the words that they use. Yeah, to speak to the benefits that they speak. So, if you're saying the purpose of embodied yoga principles is to learn about your unconscious patterns of embodiment, people are like, what? Okay. But in their language, what is it? In their language. So it's like, so I'm finding out about myself. Okay, will it help me be a better mum? Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, when I talk to my sister, who's a relatively sort of normal person, about the work that I do, I have to change the language slightly if I'm talking to business people. Humanitarian aid workers, they have their own kind of jargon. They have their own language. Dress code. Just one way for you. I'll have a shirt on Tuesday for the coaches conference, but I won't have a suit. That would probably be about overdoing it. I'll probably just have jeans and a shirt. Yeah? So it's the dress code that fits with them. So how you speak, how you dress, where they hang out. This how follows this. Yeah? So the last bit of theory here, the relationship funnel, sometimes called the sales funnel. Building trust with strangers is what you're doing. So up here you have everyone who doesn't know about you in the world. That's most people. Most people in the world will never be your customers. How many people do you need to be your customers to have a successful business? How many people a year? 30, not many, huh? For me, maybe 200. Right? For you? How many? About 200? So it's not everyone, is it? Can't shag everyone. Yeah? So if we use this analogy of romance again, and building connection, building trust as you go down, strangers are up here. They need to find out about you. So many marketing funnels have some sort of free, easy access thing here. Something that's easy to look at. What was the first thing you saw about EYP? How did you first hear about it? You tell me, what was at the top of the funnel for you? So real example, you're in this training. We are now in some relationship. Word of mouth. Okay, great. Word of mouth often comes in quite far down a funnel. It's like, because there's a lot of trust from the other person. The danger of word of mouth is someone else might have loved it, but you're not them. but generally it's pretty good. Please tell your friends about this training. If you're willing to email 1 or 2 people, I'd really appreciate it. Please, on Monday, make a little social media post about your experience. If you've had a good time here, say, I was at the Embodied Yoga Principles training. This is what I got from it. Why am I asking you for what you got from it?
Because it gives something concrete for people to think, oh,
The concrete what you got. So that's what I would love you to convey if you do a little thing for me on Monday morning. Just give me a shout. Who's willing to do a little Facebook update or Instagram thing on Monday? Or even better, a little email? No, Monday or Tuesday, not today. Less people view it on a Sunday. Okay? Preferably in office hours. Ideally 4:45 for the European time zone. Okay. So, make sense? So what you get conveys the value. The what is the value. So it's a better conversation, not just, I had a really good time. So, what? No, you might say, as a yoga teacher, I gained this, this, and this, which is useful for me. Oh, I'm also a yoga teacher. I could also gain that. So how else did you hear about this training?
I've been following you on Facebook for
Great.
3 years.
Facebook.
And you've given lots of free stuff.
Yay.
To take advantage of.
Free stuff.
So, and I've done your conference, and I listened to your
Great. Podcast is up.
By the sound of you.
Great. We're in a long-term relationship and I didn't even realise. Okay, so we're like, this is romantic now. We're properly connected. So she gets something free. Maybe it's a Facebook post that a friend has seen. And she goes, oh, that's interesting. And then she hears about a podcast.
It was the Yoga Renegades was the first thing.
Yoga Renegades. That was a Facebook group
You set
that I set up precisely for this reason. Okay, good work. Good example.
That was the starting.
So we're now going steady because you listen to my podcast regularly. Okay? Once people have listened to 100 episodes of my podcast, which is free, I enjoy doing it, I don't mind, be generous, give it away, okay? They'll do a lot. I had people in Sydney pick me up from the airport, people in New Zealand let me stay at their house. Why? Because they had trust. It's weird, they feel like they know me, I don't know them, it's a bit weird, okay? But from their point of view, they were like, stay from my house, let me drive you, because you've given to them. So for me, good marketing is based on generosity. And really from the heart, like I'm not like doing my podcast cynically, and this is in my mind, but it's also coming from a point of view of there's some people who can never afford my courses, but I'd love them to hear about this stuff, yeah? So I'm sort of fishing in the ocean, various people take it, some people go, oh, fuck this guy, oh, he swears, oh, I hate him, oh, it's not for me. Okay, good, I don't want them to come to the training. Imagine if there was someone here for 5 days complaining, I'm offended, you have sworn, you're not skinny enough to be a yoga teacher. And Iyengar was right about everything. You imagine? Get the fuck out, you're in the wrong place. It's not good. Yeah, the romance has to be a good fit. Yeah? So you're finding out it's a better and better fit. There's an increasing commitment and investment. This thing's happening again. Vidyadasa, could you check it doesn't fall down again? So increasing commitment, increasing investment. At some point you may have bought something, like the recordings of the conference, maybe for £100. Or maybe who's bought an ebook? Anyone bought an ebook? Like a £10 ebook. A few of you, right? I deliberately added in the ebooks because I wanted something that was not too expensive, that was down here. Yeah? Because by the time you've bought this training, it's quite a lot of money, right? And the only thing you could probably do more expensive than this would be EFC. Quite a few people go from this to EFC. We see that every year. There'll be 4 or 5 people on EFC who have done this training. It's further down to the bigger commitment of time and money. Is that safe? Yeah? Okay, thank you, B. Okay, so did you get the basic idea of the sales funnel? The idea is not to get everyone down, quite the opposite. The idea is to get people out who aren't a good fit and to help people move down who love your work and you love them. That's important too. Yeah? That does not look safe to me. So, lean it up against the wall maybe. Yeah. Okay. What's your version of the sales funnel? So if mine is Facebook, podcast, YouTube videos, ebooks, short course, did anyone do the one-day course? Any of the online courses we've done? Some of you? Yeah? Okay, so that's, again, getting you down the funnel. Okay. And then eventually there's something that costs a bit more money. Yeah? So turn to a partner. What's your version of the sales funnel? It might be missing stuff. So is it missing first dates? Is it missing romantic dinner? Or is it missing weddings? Do you understand the analogy? Is it missing like the free stuff that's really easy to get? Is it missing the stuff that costs a bit of money and time but it's still pretty accessible? Or is it missing the full thing that you're actually selling? Yeah. Okay, so with a partner, discuss that a bit. Well worth sitting down for an hour and working out. Do you have all the steps? So I realized at one point I had a lot of free stuff and I had some big products, but I didn't have anything cheap. And that's when we started doing little online trainings, ebooks for a tenner, things like that. Yeah. And most days I get a little ping on my PayPal saying, someone bought your centering book. Someone bought your yoga book. And I go, yay. Hey, I just made a tenner. That's nice. Okay, when you're in the sauna or something, it's quite pleasant. But also I'm going, okay, that person's now getting interested in what I'm doing. The podcast for me has been one of the best for this, just in terms of building that relationship with thousands of people. And key thing here is your marketing activities are fun. They're not things you hate. So I like interviewing people. Does that come across when I'm on the podcast? I'm not like, oh, I wish I wasn't talking to you, Ken Wilbur, fucking hell. Like, they're interesting conversations. I've outsourced the boring bits. Someone else edits it. I don't like editing. I pay someone $50 to edit each one. It's about $50 per podcast. Not a huge amount of money. Yeah. But, it's an investment for me. It's an investment. And it's, after a year and a half, it started to really come back. Every training I go to now, if I'm a participant, I was on Julie Martin's yoga course the other day, there's 5 people out of 20 listen to my podcast regularly. I was like, that's pretty good. She was a guest, right? And now it's like spreading out. So consistency is important. That podcast, we're on episode 160. Yeah. For years, I used Facebook a lot. I used a provocation strategy. That was pretty good, and then eventually became less good. The world shifted. I shifted, my career shifted. I have not been doing that for a while. Some people like Twitter because it's short and quick. Some people hate it. I've got a friend, Frankie, he likes long blogs, long considered blogs. For him, that works really well as a format. One of the teachers is autistic spectrum. She doesn't like meeting and greeting lots of people, being social. Damien, you do like that, right? Like if you don't mind sharing, like one of your...
Yeah, so most of my clients I've met, basically.
Met personally?
Through networks and things like that. We go through things like this.
Yeah. So Damien's amiable, he's likeable, he talks about his space, people get to know him. For him, that's a good fit. For someone more introverted, maybe less so. They might want to write instead. So people would tell you, oh, you have to have an Instagram, or you have to have a Twitter, or you have to do a blog. You can't do everything. I mean, I do a lot of marketing, and I think it's impossible to do everything. So what you've got to target is, where are your target audience? Where do they exist? So is it a good, like for me, I only went on Instagram when I started working more with yoga teachers. Before that, it wasn't useful to me. Now, what about if I was training 20-year-old yoga teachers? Where should I be? Snapchat, the kids love it. Not on Instagram. That's definitely not Facebook. That's for old people. Okay? There's probably even one younger than Snapchat that we don't know about, right? But that's not my target audience. My target audience is generally 30 plus. Generally. So I'm not particularly interested in being on Snapchat. Yeah? I also like to have my eggs in different baskets. So if I get banned from Facebook, that did actually happen once. I got banned for a month. Okay, if you get banned from Facebook, so I know some people that have just been permanently removed from YouTube, for example, yeah, I've got other eggs. The key thing for me is my email list, because I own that, and that's consistent. I'm not subject to someone, email's not going anywhere, all right? It's not gonna go out of fashion, like, you know, Instagram will go out of fashion, Facebook, you know, whatever. Email's staying there, people take that seriously, I can check the open rates. So building my email list is like the spine of my personal marketing. Yeah, other people, and one of my students does all her work on Instagram. She sells £5,000 of yoga training and mindfulness training a month on Instagram. She's got no other platform though. If there's a problem with that platform, she's screwed. Yeah, so she's done brilliantly. She does professional photography. She looks great. She says cool stuff, but it's a hell of a thing to have investment. I've sort of said careful there, careful. Okay. But for her, it's working out great for now. So it's what works for you and your audience, right? Yeah.
How does Instagram work as a marketing tool? Maybe this isn't the right place to ask that.
I'm not an expert in it, but I know who's been following me on Instagram before you came here, just by show of hands. Some of you, okay. So it may work just as a relationship builder, like building trust and connection and intimacy and sense of knowing who you are. But I've definitely had students from this training who have come just from Instagram. I've put something out, they've looked at it, thought that's cool, and then I've sent them a message saying, hey, if you want to come to a teacher training, we had 2 girls from the United States that came last year, and they were both from Instagram, if I remember rightly. So it is possible to build relationships from scratch. My colleague who does it a lot, she spends at least 1 or 2 hours a day on Instagram. So is that worth the investment? I wouldn't want to spend, I just upload a picture and then leave it. Generally every morning when I'm having a poo. It's good to know, it's good to know. Too much information? No, it's good to know. Yeah, just so you know, next time you're looking at a picture. Yes.
I've only recently started being on Instagram in the last year or so, and what I found is that actually I'm finding people who aren't in my target market.
Right.
And that makes me think, okay, so this is mostly, I've not been, it's mostly a personal thing, and I'm gradually moving it over. But then that makes me wonder if I'm attracting people, and I am, I'm making some really good relationships with people who I'm not looking to teach at the moment, because what I'm looking for is a really simple, sustainable thing in my own town.
Great, so I'm going to cut you off. So the principle here is it's not a target market, right? Unless she wants to move to another market,
exactly.
another group. You could, if you wanted to, but I'd say again, be aware of that. Is that what you want to do?
I just enjoy the relationships.
Sure, so you're doing it for fun, not marketing.
Yeah, and I like learning from the other people because I watch and see what works for them.
Okay, but is that serving you and your goals?
At the moment it is, because I'm not right at the moment.
Are you getting customers from it? If you're not, it's not marketing.
It's market research.
Okay, that's something different. So be clear what you're doing. Is it learning? Is it fun? Is it just something you do for relaxation? Or is it actually marketing?
It's building relationships with people who I admire, and I think, you know what, I like to be more like that. And it's giving me courage for my own personal marketing to go, oh, you know what?
Something different.
That's a much more authentic way to do it, and I like the feel of that.
Got it. Okay.
So, for example, for
Got
this,
it. Okay. So, so in terms of relationships, that's another important one. Yeah. So a big way to open up audiences is partnerships and relationships. So if I have someone on my podcast, the benefit for that is that they open it up to their audience. They put it out on their lists, or their Facebook and whatever. So the reason, like so many people from Julie Martin's workshop knew about me in the podcast was because Julie Martin was a guest and she shared it on her list. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. So it's like in terms of who are key influencers, who are people that can connect you to NGO workers or expats or whoever you want to work with. Question there.
I wasn't a question, but just something that I found really useful that I discovered recently, just in case other people don't know. I was talking with Instagram, so I changed my account to a business account. You can see who your followers are in terms of age,
Analytics.
where they live,
Yeah.
and then male, female, and that's just really useful to find out are you actually targeting the
Yeah.
demographic that you want to.
Great. Rather than talk about specific modalities, I'd say understand the principles of it, and then once you know that, let's say Instagram's your thing, find someone who knows about that. Buy them lunch. I sat down with Dasha, my student and friend in Russia, who's a real Instagrammer, and I said, listen, I'll take you for lunch anywhere in Moscow you want. In exchange, half an hour you tell me about Instagram. Best £30 ever spent, right? Expert marketing consultant, lovely person, basically telling me everything I needed to know, personalised because she knows my business, for the price of lunch, and it was quite a pleasant experience, I think, for both of us. Yeah. So finding those people that really know about email lists or Facebook or Instagram, because there's so much information out there, and it's changing so quickly. You can be like, you buy a book and it will be behind the times in 6 months. Yeah. Some people are using search engine optimization. We haven't talked about that. Some people it's pure word of mouth. I've got colleagues who do every single piece of their business through word of mouth. But even that you can make more effective, right? Like I did with you guys, saying, hey, are you willing to share? You know, Vididasa, can you mail something around on Monday? Okay, to build that. Yeah. Whew. How are you feeling? Too much info? Is it landing? Yeah. Yeah.
Richie, who's got
What's your website for? I've commissioned about 20 websites over the years, and the web designers are always, I'll make it look nice. I'm like, I'm not interested in nice. What am I interested in? Does it do the job? Does that make sense? Well, what's the job? Well, it depends on your business model. I was just talking to one of my mentees about this the other day. Is it that people know who you are, then find the website just to find your address or email? Or is it they find the website through Google? Is it they're going to find the website through a video, so it's like next stage in a marketing funnel? See what I mean? So is that website building trust? Is it speaking to that target audience? A question I get a lot from students is, I have 2 different audiences, can I use the same website? Not really. Yeah? Which mode are you in? It should be 2 different sales funnels, effectively. We have an EYP list, which you guys will be on. You're not on my main list. Okay, unless you tell me your email and want to be on it or sign up for it, because it's a different thing. The main list of embodiment, generally, if you're a coach or a trainer or something, I'd advise getting on that main list. You can give me your email again now, or just go on the website and look it up. That's a different list than embodied yoga, because the yoga list, I share the yoga podcasts, and the main list, I'll share the other ones. Do you see what I mean? So I want to be able to give value. Yeah. Key principle with this funnel is giving value all the way, giving value. Yeah.
And call to action at some point, that it's not just giving. At some point it's okay to like, do you want to book this?
Yes. Who's good at that? Closing. There's a thing in sales called always be closing. So sales is listen, what are their concerns, what are their values, what is how the language they speak, then make a compelling offer, but you need to say, do you want to buy it? How about signing up for this? Yeah, there's a close at some point. Some people are not very good at that. Something to practice, yeah? Okay, my sense is you guys are a little tired, so there's a little bit more to do on this, but why don't we have like a quick shavasana, a quick lie down? Sound good? People are flagging a little bit. All right, so just to complete on some of the marketing stuff, I won't push it too hard. 4 elements we were doing this morning with Carden. So the earthy side of 4 elements in marketing. What do you think the earthy side is in marketing? Organising, consistency, maybe having Excel spreadsheets of different clients. Yeah. The watery side, tremendously underrated. Flow, more than that. Relationships. Sales is all relationships.
Emotional authenticity.
Yeah. People buy from relationship. Yeah, they buy from people they know and trust, not from the cheapest people. Yeah, that's in Tel Aviv. There's diamond exchange, and people do business just with the shake of a hand, because they know if they rip someone off, that's their reputation gone. You know, that's the end of them as a diamond trader in Tel Aviv forever if they rip someone off. So they don't have to have big contracts. It's done through relationships. It's who they know. Yeah? So we tend to be in families and businesses that are around for a while. Yeah. So the water side of things. Steve, a student of mine, he does big tech deals. I once caught him in a coffee break doing a £13 million tech deal. And he's like, I just got to finish this off. He's like, yeah, 13, yeah, cheers, deal. All right, hangs up. So 13 what? He said, million. Yeah. So doing some big sales deals. And, he's not getting all that himself, but that's the size of the deals he's doing. And I said to him, Steve, I was teaching this piece. I said, you sell more than I do, Steve. I said, what's the essence of good sales? He said, listening. So I spend 90% of my time listening, and then 10% sending them exactly what they want. Make sense? Yeah? Listen, and then the fire is being able to say, do you want this, yes or no? Do you want to go for it? There's a decisiveness needed. I notice for my courses, most people buy when early bird is about to run out, like 80 or 90%. Because they need to take action now. Yeah? It's like we'll put a newsletter out saying, early bird ends tomorrow. I like to make it quite clear. Sometimes you'll see me do things like 24 hours, this deal. We'll probably give people another day if they miss the email. But the reason is it's to make that action. There's that fieriness. Yeah, in or out. Do you want it? Yes or no? Okay. Yeah. Romantic application, exactly the same. There's a moment where you go, so you're interested? It's like the dance, the ambiguity, the dance, and then are you up for it or not? Yeah. Do you want to have a coffee? Do you want to whatever? Yeah. There's that ability to be decisive. At a certain point becomes the key skill. Yeah. The air skill here is being unattached, not being clingy, not being desperate, not being needy. We looked at that before. Yeah. Also being creative. Unless you have massive budget, creativity is the key. Can you find that one creative idea? I made a meme the other day, the embodiment meme. Did anyone see this meme? It was, so the head off and the little heart and the head on and the big heart. Okay, that took me less than 1 minute to draw that. Okay, I sent it to Matt. He sent it back 5 minutes later, so it was less than 5 minutes work for him. I put it on my Facebook, it got 100 shares. Now, hopefully that was a few people that have then joined my list. You know, there's an email on there, it's like, okay. So very simple, creative idea. Yeah? Yeah, there is humour. Lightness, seeing the funny side. We put quite a lot of sort of humorous stuff out there. I think, people, particularly British people, most Europeans generally, I'd say, just absolutely sick of being sold to. There's this nice saying that everyone likes buying, but no one likes being sold to. Yeah? So it's about being attracting, not promoting. It's like people like to find something, oh, this is cool. They enjoy that, but they don't want to be hard sold. Yeah?
That's where it seems to me the courage to be more authentic. Because loads of people will not like me, I know that, and loads of people will love me.
Yeah.
But they won't know unless I can allow the different sides of myself to be seen. And that feels really raw and vulnerable at points, because actually there's been a big show to protect the bits that I really care about, and those are the bits that I actually want to learn how to share.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we try and be all things to all people. You'll get no one or you'll get the wrong customers. You can't please everyone. Yeah? So can you show who you really are? That's vulnerable because people will criticize, they won't like it, there'll be a sense of rejection, But at least the customers you do get will be the ones that are really well suited for you. Like this 5 days has been quite flowing, hasn't it? It's been quite relaxed, quite flowing. Sort of like I called you a no bullshit group. It's a nice group. Why? Because you're the right customers. Like we've filtered people. There's people that weren't, we told you probably better not come, and there's people that filtered themselves out. So we get a group of people that are well suited for the training, which means you're going to say nice things, you benefit a lot, we benefit, it's easy for everyone, there's a good fit. So keep looking for that fit. The first time you turn customers away is a really nice feeling, it's empowering. People have this idea around money sometimes that you should be desperate to do anything for money. I've turned down clients and said, you know what, you're not really my customer, but have a nice day. Maybe here's a phone number of someone else. There's something empowering about that because you're no longer money's slave. Yeah? People also feel that. They're selling to you. Right? So I went to a business in Brighton. I had to meet the HR person. And I walked in and it was like, well, I've got this experience. I know I could do this job. And my vibe was very much like, why should I do this job? She starts selling me the job. To see how that's way better than me saying, oh, you should pick me because I'm... Right? People do this in dating all the time. Women are normally way better than this at men. Yeah? Turning it around, right? Like, I'm the valuable one here. I'm not desperate. Do you want to buy this service? And then, okay, why would I take you as a client? This is what with the interview we do, is genuinely interviewing people, right? It's not just a formality. Okay. Let's, for a bit of fun, I want to get you to be flexible and think in different ways about sales and have a bit of fun with it in a lively way. So let's come back to where is it? It's been put up on the wall. The levels of development one. Has it been hidden away? 6 levels. That's it. There it is. I can see it at the back. Okay. You're going to sell an EYP workshop to these groups of people. Make sense? Do you remember level 3? Power. Get what you want. Roar. Level 4, traditional. That might be a bit difficult, but give it a go. Level 5, modernist, achievist. Level 6, bit more hippie, bit more postmodern. Level 7, all combined. They're going to love it anyway. So work with a partner, pick a level. Your job is to sell one of your EYP workshops. You will be doing this if you've got practice hours coming up. This is why you should do this EYP workshop. This is what you'll benefit from it. Remember benefits? Yeah? So this is giving you a chance to sell benefits. So pick a couple of those, a couple of numbers, off you go. Make sense? Questions. Who has asked a question to the person you're selling to? What is it you want? Do you already do yoga? Yeah? What kind of yoga do you like? What's a problem you have in your life? So your friend you're talking about is anger management issue. Okay, great. How can it help with that? Okay, problem you have is your kids don't listen to you. They're teenagers and they don't respect you. Okay, so we've got this pose called authority pose that can really help with that. You see how now you're talking to their concerns. You're talking to their problems. Yeah? Or else you just try to sell ice to Eskimos, right? So don't chuck things. First listen, ask questions. Second question, have you considered your own embodiment? Stage 3, sell! Stage 4, sell. Stage 5, sell. Stage 6, sell. It's completely different, right? Blah, 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 blah. Because you've been doing embodiment for 5 days, so I hope you're not just working with words. Okay, so add those 2 things in. I'm exaggerating, so it's obvious to you. It doesn't have to be so acted or so fake, right? But there's a way in which it's like, maybe it's stage 3, it's like, you're going to win at everything. That was a good phrase. It's going to be this. It's going to be quick. It's going to be short. It's going to be sharp. It's going to be amazing. Stage 4, okay. In Sanskrit, there's this term called upaya, which means embodied means. We're working with this kosha in this way. It's about union. As you know, yoga means union, to yoke. Okay? And this method is very structured. There's 5 stages that we work through in this method. You see what I've done there? Stage 5, what is it you want? What are you trying to get? Okay, you want this. Okay, let's look at this. Bit of science, bit of neuroscience, bit of Amy Cuddy. Right, okay, here's what you can get. Stage 6, how do you feel in yoga? Do you feel sometimes in yoga, it's about feeling now, right? Do you feel sometimes in yoga that you want to be a bit freer, that you want to be a bit more creative? Maybe a kind of yoga where you can do it your way, where you can really feel into what's needed for you. Does that make sense? What do you think? It's totally different, isn't it? Okay, try again. Try again. What did your partner do that you thought was a good job on the sale? Did they close it? Did they say, this is what you need to buy, here's the email. I'll send you that tomorrow. Did they get a good sharp close? I'll be at your house naked at 9 p.m. Was there a good sale? Was there a close? What did they do that you liked? Related it to real life, stuff they can relate to and care about. I'll use warrior poses a lot when I'm explaining because everyone knows it. Yeah? The familiar, trusted. What else? Unless they're an air person, then they want the new and the novel. Earth people, it's just like what you already do, only a little bit different. Air people, it's completely new and special and wonderful and no one else does it. Huh? Great, what else?
Match this hand gestures to the group. So power was...
Okay, got it. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So it's this. Yeah. Cool. Good work. We're using level of development. We could be using personality type. We could be using nationality. What's the Israeli way of selling this, the Russian way? My colleague that sells EFC in Russia, completely different sales strategy. Has to be different levels of trust and culture and all sorts of things. There's no way she can do what we do in England. Yeah. What else? Any other good things your partner did that you thought were good sales and marketing? Look quite lively.
Use words that would associate with number 6, like universe,
Yeah, it's diverse practice. Yeah. What else?
I noticed that there was a natural link. You probably are more of a 6. So before you prompted to use the embodied, really leaning into that, because that's more of a natural way of being for you. The embodiment just kind of seems to flow along with you.
Yeah, and it's just empathy, right, as well, right? If someone's in a kind of floaty state and you're like, rah, 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 I mean, it's just unempathic. Tune in. It doesn't have to be like a trick. Yeah. Cool. Any others? Are you what are some of the unique selling points of embodied yoga when you talk to people about this? Because you're going to be selling your little practice workshops, right? So you need to know what to talk about. Try that with your partner. What are a couple of the things that are like unique selling points or benefits of doing an EYP workshop? Any person at all. Let's hear them. So these are things you can actually say when you're inviting people to your workshops. It's super practical, it's not theoretical now. Yeah? So what's something you could actually say that might be appealing to your actual audience, the yogis you know, the people you know? Yeah.
You can get insights in a moment that hundreds of hours of thinking may never deliver.
Great. It's quick. Particularly busy people like that. An efficient way to learn about yourself. Stage 5 loves efficient. Stage 6, efficient, dirty word. Yeah?
For me, because this is my first time really experiencing it, I can't really honestly say because I'm going to go home and see what happens now.
Great.
For a couple or 3 months.
Speak to that. Speak to your own experience because it's authentic, it's real, it's way more powerful. Maybe have you had like one big insight when you've been here? Like one, is there one you could talk about? Yeah. Anything you'd be willing to say?
Sure. Just the kind of the yang energy that's needed in my life to move forward that I have issues with maybe.
Right.
Wrong, whatever you call it, and I feel like I have some tools to actually really work with them, and I'm really excited about that.
Great. So it might be, I realise I have this issue with yang, in America, North America, it's, how do you say it? Yang, it's yang in English. Okay, the Mandarin's probably completely different to both. So I noticed I have this issue with yang. I was able to get some really tools to work on it, and I feel excited about that. So you're actually speaking to your own personal experience. So yes, we're being empathic, we're looking at other people, but your own personal stories, if you notice I tell a lot of stories, it's not just because I'm narcissistically self-obsessed. Okay, it's also that stories are more compelling. Yeah, your personal stories are juicy, particularly if there's a little bit of colour to it. Yeah, and as that story goes on, you might find that has impact in your life that you can then add to that story that makes it even more compelling. I used to not be, like when I tell the story of the person who left the abusive husband, real story, genuine story, but it's a real impact. Do you see what I mean? Someone that couldn't do a thing that was hurting her, and now she could do the thing. Yeah? What else? How else would you talk about this? Yeah.
Actually, the self-inquiry can reveal that you might even actually where you think you are.
Okay.
I can say this from my own image.
I was surprised. There's something I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I knew I was stressed when I came here, but I actually can now look back 5 days ago with the insights that I've gained here, saying actually, burnt out.
Right. All right. We're blind to what we're blind to. Intrigue is good for sales. You might find out things about yourself that you might be a bit surprised by. Huh? What? Yeah. Certain kind of person will hate that though. Certain kind of person says, I know everything about myself. This embodiment, it's not going to like that. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah.
It can give you some really practical tools which will help you change your state very quickly.
Great. Practical is one of the words I use a lot. Another word is deep. Another word is Western. Okay? So we've got a little document in your notes which is like the brand of EYP. So the brand is Western but deep. Practical. Okay? Humour's part of it. Because I actually had loads of fun with doing something really deep. Yeah? I learned more about myself in 5 days doing that than 5 years of psychotherapy. Okay? One coach said, I'm now doing 3 sessions what I used to do in 10. So it's like, you see, they're your benefits. The benefits that you've got from it, or that you think people get from it. Yeah.
I think another important point is that the
adaptable enough to be for everybody.
Super accessible. So you don't have to be super fit to get lots of benefit from this kind of yoga. Yeah, benefit for your actual life. So the beautiful thing about this kind of yoga for marketing is sales works best when it's connected to what people really care about. Okay, this kind of yoga, what is it about? What do people really care about? That's the heart of it. So it fits really well from a marketing point of view. Yeah? We're specifically going after what people are most interested in their life. Notice I don't dictate that to you, I let you come up with it. You tell me about your activism or your parenting or your love life, whatever. I give you a few potentials. Yeah. So have you got enough that you feel like you could sort of sell your practice workshops, even if they're free? Free's not easy to sell. Sometimes people value it less, so you actually have to make a case for it. Yep. Last thing on marketing then, your personal brand. So part of marketing is about listening to others. The other part is about expressing yourself. So this is like what Alison was saying earlier about people being a good fit for her and getting the right people for her. We're all different, right? So what 2 or 3 postures sum up your personal brand? So your personal brand is just the professional reputation part of your authentic self. That's how I define that. It's not some bullshit you've made up. Yeah? Does it make sense? So what do you think? You all know me. What 3 postures might be part of my brand?
Warrior.
Warrior. What else?
Joker.
Joker. Maybe taking space with authority. Something like that. Yeah? So if I need to be conveying that in my being, in my marketing, blah, blah, blah. Cool?
Yeah.
Okay, that's me. What about you? Work with a partner, see if you can work it out. A few minutes. The thing was the last thing for the marketing.